the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. Waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider.
BetUS, America's favorite sports book, where you can bet on everything anytime. Sportsbook, live betting, and casino. To celebrate 30 years in business, we have the best bonuses in the industry. Get a 125% sign-up bonus and up to 30 risk-free bets. So what are you waiting for? Join now. BetUS, where the game begins.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to TD Fans Talk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Y'all hit that like button on your way in the building. I hope everybody's having a good night tonight. We got a good one for you all. We're going to talk Miami Dolphins football. We got to talk about Tua Tagovailoa's end of the season grade. We have that. We're also going to talk about this Justin Fields false narrative that I'm going to have to discuss, because people out here losing their mind, crying over the potential of competition for Tua Tagovailoa. So we'll talk about that and more. Make sure you hit that like button. This stream is being powered by BetUS. Receive a 125% bonus. The link is in the description of the video. Remember, BetUS isn't just for sports book. It also has the casino as well. If you like blackjack, if you like slots, all that good stuff, take advantage of it. Also, as you can see, BetUS right now has the Super Bowl props available for you. Make sure that you check those out as well. They're all listed right here. You have the game. You have the coin toss. You got all this stuff, even the college stuff, Heisman Trophy winners, everything in here. Just go to BetUS, take advantage of it. Remember, a 125% sign-up bonus. Take advantage of it now. Supporting our sponsors is supporting the channel, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody's having a great night tonight. Monday morning, Monday noon, Monday evening. I've been working all day, but here we are, Monday night. We got a lot to discuss, okay? We definitely have a lot to discuss. First, let me pull up the grade for Tua. I want to go ahead and get that out of the way. Y'all give me 1 second so I can get the grades for Tua up. Rename Miami Garden to Miami Fields. No, on the run. Some people losing their mind at just the thought of bringing Fields to Miami. Give me a moment. Oh, why this thing taking forever? This is what aggravates me. When my system be moving all slow. That's all right. I got a new computer coming too with more RAM. All right, let me shift this over here. I'm gonna switch screens. All right. TD Fans Talk. To a grade. Did Tua really say that about Fields? If you're talking about what I think you're talking about with the running back thing, no. Somebody just made that. They make it everything on social media these days. Everything's being made. What's the narrative, TD, about Fields? I'm about to go over it. Let me get Tua grades done so I can share them with everybody, and then we'll get into that. We'll definitely get into it. All right. Shout out to those who are watching on Twitter right now as well. And please, everyone, hit that like button. Go ahead and punch that like button. All right. All right. Let me share screen. Window to a grade. Share. All right. Here we go. Let me switch to a more. Let me go to another mini view. This will be better. All right. Y'all all know we've been doing this. Let me go back to year 3, which was last year. Okay. Let's go to year 3. All right. We all know what happened last year. What really hurt Tua was his availability. Tua's availability really hurt him last year. He ended with the 80.1 rating, which was a B minus. It was below the target that we wanted of 84 that we all decided last year. And it was really solely because of his injuries. We scored his injuries last year as far as availability. Let me go ahead and show you what a perfect healthy Tua last year. It would have gave him an 82.8. So it still wouldn't have got him to the target he needed, but he was able to come close to the target. It was disappointing, especially how he ended the season. As you can see, his last 4 games were 4 of his worst games in the season. On the right side, you can see the grades over here on the end. C, D minus, C minus, D. Okay. And if you look at throughout the season, it was a lot of off the chart purple, perfect A's. You know, there was an F game. That was the game he also got hurt, if I'm not mistaken. And some C's. So when you look at last year, he had some average games, some great games, good games, really a good game, and then he just fell off of a cliff. Now, let's go to year 4. Okay? All right, year 4, Tua Tagovailoa. All right, his availability was green all the way down, as you can see. Okay, that's really gonna drive his grade this year. Okay, now as you can see, he started out A++ off the charts, then had an average game, then A++ again, then another average game, then another average game, then an A, then a good game, then a great game, then an average game. So far, great. This is what all you can ask for a quarterback, to not give you, D's and F's. A few C's aren't bad. Now, he got quite a few this season, but, it still ain't bad and terrible. You don't want the C minuses, but you'll take them. All right. So throughout the season, he was doing well. And then at the very end, he kind of fell off again. As you can see at the very end of the season. We got a we got a D plus, C plus B, C plus D, D. And that was the back end of the season. But I'd argue that the back of the end of the season this year wasn't as bad as last year. Still wasn't great, but it wasn't as bad. But his final score to end the season, Tua ended with a B plus, ladies and gentlemen. He ended with the B plus. That's actually great. We raised his target to 85 this year, and he achieved an 88.7. He exceeded his target and earned the right, in my opinion, to play a year 5 for the Miami Dolphins. This is all you ask for your quarterback, to continue to make improvements. And the truth of the matter is, Tua definitely made improvements. And that's on our standard, what we all came up with as good, solid goals. Okay. Now, him staying healthy this year was a large part of that. Say he had a year like last year with health, he would have been down to an 85.7, but he still would have succeeded. So overall, even though we don't like the way the season ended, as a quarterback overall, he had a good season. B plus, 88.7 on our scale. Next year, the scale will be a little different because we won't add the availability, because he had a year of health. So we'll put more weight in the statistics and things of that nature. But overall, this is really solid for Tua. Really good season overall when you put it all together, okay? I know y'all in the chat saying I'm being generous with the grade, but I'm sorry. This is what we came up with as a benchmark for him, and he achieved it, okay? Now, does this make him a franchise quarterback? No. What this does is say that, honestly, we should be okay with him moving on to another season. And the truth of the matter is, let me say this. I can have my personal beliefs in Tua Tagovailoa as far as not being a franchise quarterback, okay? I can have those personal beliefs. But that doesn't mean he won't be one, okay? I don't believe he's a franchise quarterback, but it doesn't mean that he won't be one. We have to allow time to tell on that. And our grading system basically told us, do we need to move on from Tua after year 4? Or or should we allow him to play his 5th-year option? And what he did last year, we should be fine with him playing his 5th-year option. Now, when it comes to the conversation of a long-term deal, that's where the issue comes. That's where the skepticism comes. Signing Tua on a long-term extension could be phenomenal for the Dolphins if they get the right price. But it could also be a disaster if he doesn't turn out to be the guy, if he regresses or doesn't play well. That's the dilemma. So that leads me into the Justin Fields conversation. First of all, some of y'all out here in the Dolphin community, whether it's fans of the team, just normal social media people that's commenting, or creators, YouTubers, beat writer, whatever it is, y'all got to stop this bias crap, this crybaby crap. Nobody said cut Tua Tagovailoa, bring in Justin Fields to replace him. Nobody's saying that. Stop trying to make that the conversation just so you can have an argument. The intrigue in Justin Fields is, number one, to bring in competition for Tua Tagovailoa. Number two, potentially have insurance just in case Tua Tagovailoa does not show up in his 5th year like Baker Mayfield didn't. That's what this is about. Wanting to trade for Justin Fields is solely about insurance, not replacement off the bat. But the reality is, people are still so scared of competition. And the truth is because those same people deep down don't believe Tua can hold up. They don't believe Tua can beat out competition. They don't want any resistance because they are nervous that he won't be able to hold. Because if that wasn't true, then why are so many people crying about the Miami Dolphins bringing Justin Fields in as competition? Why? Stop crying then if that's not the case. There's no way the Dolphins would be interested in Justin Fields. You got people online comparing stats. Why are you comparing stats for Tua and Justin Fields? They are not the same quarterback. They are not in the same year of development. They have not had the same path. Stop trying to compare the two to try to already say who's better than the other. And for those who believe quarterback is not a top priority, you don't understand setting up a team for long-term success. You don't care about long-term success. Because what many of you need to realize, if Tua fails this year, let's say they don't even give him a contract. Let's even go to that extent. They don't even give him a contract. And Tua absolutely fails, and they're like, he's not the guy. What can the Dolphins do the very next year? If we win 9 games and miss the playoffs and Tua plays horrible, what options do the Miami Dolphins have at that point? None. They won't have a good enough draft pick to get a top player in the draft. Getting a free agent quarterback that's a veteran isn't nothing but a Band-Aid, temporary. Their future has no bearing on it. They literally have no set path for the future. And what kind of organization operates like that where they literally have no path for the future? No contingency plans. Just automatically walking around like everything's going to be perfect and it's going to work. Have you not been a Dolphin fan for the last 20 years? That's just stupid to think that way. If you've been a Dolphin fan for the last 20 years, we all should know better than that. And once again, this is not to say Tua is going to fail, but in the event that he does, what are we going to do? But people are so scared to even talk about that because they're scared to set the team up for long-term success by just having a backup or competition or a developmental guy that's of a better stature. Because they're terrified that they're going to overlook Tua. They're terrified if Tua gets hurt and Justin Fields gets on the field, that he's going to show out. They're terrified that if Tua doesn't play well, Justin Fields is going to get a look. They're terrified of whatever Tua comes up short with, Justin Fields may be considered. It's that simple. This has nothing to do with getting rid of Tua Tagovailoa. This has everything to do with making sure you have a backup plan just in case he doesn't work out. But they don't want to talk about that. They just want to make it seem like you're hating on Tua and you don't want Tua. No, Tua is the starting quarterback. Tua is the guy for the future until he proves otherwise, and y'all terrified that he might prove otherwise. This ain't got nothing to do with Tua haters. Have you not noticed they're waiting to the very last minute to give the man a contract? If they truly believed, he would have had it last year. If they truly believed, they would have already worked on the details and they would have been inking it. Stop this narrative about Justin Fields. Everybody knows Justin Fields isn't a great passer. Is he not allowed to improve? Is he not allowed to get better? Is that not allowed? Did Mike McDaniel make Tua Tagovailoa a better passer from year 2 to year 3? Yes or no? The answer is yes. Unless that doesn't fit your narrative right now. But the answer is yes. You bring him in as a project to see if Mike McDaniel can make him a better passer. And if he becomes a better passer, mixed in with his athletic ability, we now have a weapon. And Tua might continue to ball out while we're developing that weapon, and maybe we only use that weapon like Taysom Hill or something until we make a decision. Another thing, this notion that, because I see somebody in the chat saying it now, this notion that Fields and Tua requires 2 different offensive schemes is not true. Y'all don't understand how basic our offense is. Like, gosh, do y'all think that, oh, McDaniels is a genius, you know, the offense is different? No, it's not difficult. It's not difficult at all. It's the easiest offense you could run. It's the easiest offense you could run as a quarterback. The term pick a guy, let it fly. The only difficulty is making sure that you throw accurate passes. It ain't no processing involved. It ain't all of that. Not at a high level. Only Tua can run this offense. Throw it to wide open receivers across the middle. Matter of fact, I'll go out on a limb to tell you Tua can't even operate this offense because the only time he operated is to wide open receivers. Now, with the same offense has opportunity with difficult passes and everything, but he can't hit them. Because when the great teams make him hit the difficult parts of the offense, he can't do it. So don't even tell me Tua can operate this offense. He can operate the basic, easy parts of it. The next level, he cannot operate, and that's the problem. And that's why he came out and said, there's 4 things I want to work on, and I'm not going to disclose them. You know why he ain't going to disclose them? Because they verify everything people like me been telling y'all. Matter of fact, I want some of y'all to tell me what you think the 4 things he's working on are. And you try to tell me it's something opposite of what I've been telling y'all all this time. And you know why I know you can't do it? Is because most of you act like he never had any issues. So tell me the 4 things Tua Tagovailoa say he need to work on. What do you think they are? What do you think they are? It's that simple. Tua ain't even operating the offense holistically because he ain't going through all his reads and he ain't going processing the field post snap. But yet y'all want to act like Fields is a finished product. He is who he is. Maybe we should have said Tua was what he was at the Flores. But no, we can't do that. Even though the Chicago Bears then has some of the most incompetent coaching there is. And then got the nerve to compare wins and losses. Well, Tua's won games. Fields ain't got a winning record. Are y'all kidding me? Are you kidding me? Why did Tua Tagovailoa lose in the playoffs? Why did Tua Tagovailoa lose against Baltimore? Why did Tua Tagovailoa lose against Buffalo twice this year? Why? Can you answer me that? Why was Tua Tagovailoa losing games at the end of the season? But when you answer that question, you want to reach to everybody except Tua. But yet, when you want to compare quarterback wins and losses, you want to give Tua the win credit. Like the quarterback it determines the wins and losses alone. Quarterbacks are more important in impacting playoff games. When you got mano-a-mano and teams start to get more even. When two great defenses go up against each other. Whose quarterback breaks through the most? That's when the quarterbacks come on the stage. All that regular season stuff, at the end of the day, that's when you talk about team records and all of that crap. Tua Tagovailoa has earned his right to be a Miami Dolphin next year. Nobody wants to go ahead and replace him. I personally don't believe in his long-term future. But at the end of the day, he has earned the right to continue to try to move in that same trajectory of going forward and up. But just because somebody wants to trade for Justin Fields does not mean they're trying to replace Tua. They're just not trying to get burned. And they want to at least have something cooking in the oven just in case. Just in case. That's all it is. Just in case. Just in case. Nobody wants to talk about if Tua flakes out next year, what it means for the Dolphins. You avoid that conversation at all costs. Nobody wants to talk about if he has a bad season next year, what do we do? Nobody want to have that conversation. And get mad at people like me for having it and bringing up a solution so that we're good either way. It's crazy. I can't believe this man done played 4 years and y'all still scared for him to have competition. Still terrified of having something competent at least competing with him. Y'all all good with the Mike Whites and the Teddy Bridgewaters and the y'all good with that. But as soon as you talk about a former a top pick, as soon as you talk about as soon as you talk about somebody who has a part of his game that Tua ain't got, y'all get terrified. Why? You scared to see what this offense will look like with a mobile quarterback? Is that what it is? Is that what it is? Is that what it is? Y'all got to stop this mess. It was all good until y'all want to start picking on people just because they want to have a contingency plan. Why? I got to ask this too. Why y'all got to mess with people? Just because somebody say, please trade for Fields, why y'all got to mess with them for having their opinion about football? Why they got to be insulted? Why they got to be attacked? All in the name of Tua? All in the name of a quarterback that we all still got questions about? All in the name of a quarterback who still ain't win an important game late in the season? All for a quarterback who just never shows up in the big moment? All for a quarterback who always streaks in the big moment? All for a quarterback who looks like one of the worst quarterbacks in the league in the big moment. All for a quarterback who can't put the team on his back, never. All for a quarterback who has obvious limitations. And it's so funny how some people are starting to slide it in. You know, when they denied things existed in the past, now they're trying to slide it in like no big deal. Now you got people on their podcasts and stuff like that. I see all the clips y'all send me. I don't know why y'all be sending me these clips. I don't want to hear somebody finally admit something I've been telling y'all for years. I don't care. But it is funny to me that now they get slidden in. Well, yeah, it's apparent. Everybody's talking about the 4 things Tua's working on. Now you hear everybody talking about, well, I know he's trying to become a better thrower outside of the numbers. Oh, but y'all ignored that for years. I know he's trying to do better at post reading the defense, post snap. Oh, but y'all act like that ain't exist for years. I know he's trying to improve on, his reads past his first read. Oh, y'all still putting up statistics to try to make that seem not true. You can't have your cake and eat it too. These narratives got to start being more factual. You can't sit here and call them lies all the time and then sneak them in at the end when it's all said and done, like you've been saying that. And now next year, 5 months from now, you'll be saying, well, I've been said that these were issues, and you'll go back to today and show where you said it when you've been denying them for 2-3 years now. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The Miami Dolphins need to pursue a Justin Fields. They need to pursue a young quarterback who has potential that can come in and be real competition. And unfortunately, there aren't many at all in the NFL, and that's why the Miami Dolphins need to pursue Justin Fields, because he can be a dynamic player. And when it comes to throwing the football, Tua Tagovailoa is like an 8 out of 10 to me, which is phenomenal. Justin Fields is like a 4.5 out of 10 to me. That's not good. But if Mike McDaniel, with what y'all say he is, can turn Justin Fields into a 4.5 and try to get him to a 7, you match that with his athleticism, that is better than that 8. And that's what y'all are terrified about. You're terrified that Mike McDaniel could potentially have this man throw into these same wide open zones like Tua. And then when everything breaks down, he don't have to cave like Tua because he can go to his legs. That's what you're terrified of. You're terrified that they can turn that 4.5 into a 7 and you add the legs and he's a better quarterback overall. Because if Justin Fields was a 7 out of 10 passer, oh, he would be better than Tua Tagovailoa right now. But he's not. And I'm telling you, he's not better than Tua. He's more athletic than Tua and has a higher upside than Tua at this point. Because what Justin Fields has that Tua doesn't, Tua can't never get. What Tua has that Justin Fields doesn't have, he can actually get with the right coaching and development. And that's what people are scared of. Justin Fields can be viewed as trash now. Tua was viewed as trash his first 2 years. And that's what everybody is scared of. Terrified. That's why you're acting out now, trying to call people out just for mentioning it. Well, I'm not trading a 2nd-round pick. If you can go put a 2nd-round pick on Josh Rosen, then why wouldn't you put a 2nd-round pick on Justin Fields, knowing that we're in a situation we might have to pay Tua crazy money long term, and we still don't even know if he's worthy of it? What do you have to lose other than Justin Fields not being good when it's all said and done? At least you made sure that you had a contingency plan. At least you made sure you had a contingency plan. That's all it's about. And again, this is about real Dolphin fans. This is about real Dolphin fans. If you're a real Dolphin fan, wouldn't you want your team to have a contingency plan just in case? Or is it just Tua working out or nothing? Does that make you a real Dolphin fan if it's just about one player or nothing? Like, I don't understand. And maybe this is the new age fan or something, where it's about one player or nothing. I don't get it. We're the real Dolphin fans that don't put player over team. And again, let me preface this by saying we're not even trying to get rid of Tua. Tua's our starter next year. Go be the guy. Matter of fact, go into next year with Fields as your backup, ball out, and then we get to trade Fields later on, or we get to sign him as a backup quarterback for longer. That's all this is about. But the last time I'm going to say this, nobody wants to talk about the scenario that Tua Tagovailoa wins 7, 8, or 9 games, missed the playoffs, and he was bad next year. Nobody want to talk about that potential. And then where do we go? And that's if you didn't sign him on a long-term deal. You still have nowhere to go. Now you don't have his rights. You're not going to franchise tag him after playing that bad. You're going to let him hit free agency, and you're looking for a new quarterback. But on top of that, you don't have the draft capital to be in the top 3. Now you're looking for another bridge quarterback in a late first round quarterback or second rounder with no guarantees again, setting us back that much further. And worse, even worse, you might even sign Tua this offseason on a long-term deal, and nobody's talking about if we do that, he wins 7, 8, or 9 games, he plays bad, he's one of the main reasons we didn't go far, and now you're stuck with them for years to come. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody. They only want to talk about the other possibility. They don't want to talk about that possibility. A great front office is looking at every scenario. There ain't just optimism. 100% optimism can doom you. You have to think about the things that could go wrong so that you can make sure you put parameters in place to be able to offset them when they come. Or at least you made an attempt to. Doesn't mean you're going to be able to do it successfully, because we could bring Justin Fields in, Tua could bomb, and Fields could bomb. But at least you try to have a backup situation. But no. That's too much. That's too much to think about, too much to talk about, too much. And here's my final proof that the only reason people aren't even considering it is only because they scared that it can impact Tua. Because that's what they're making it about. We're not getting Justin Fields because look at what he did his first few years. He hasn't had numbers like Tua for 3 years now. He had better numbers than Mike White, but y'all was okay with that. He had better numbers than all these other scrubs. All these other scrubs. And we know he's a better playmaker than all these other scrubs. But y'all were okay with that because y'all knew it was zero threat to Tua with a Mike White. We trolled y'all for a whole year talking about how much we love Skylar Thompson, and y'all start hating on Skylar. Y'all start getting mad at a 7th round pick because people played around and said, Skylar's better. Y'all got offended. That tells you all you need to know. Y'all start attacking Skyler every time Skyler plays. See, y'all so emotional about Tua. Y'all got to stop that mess. You have to. Glenn said this year we don't have a third and fourth round pick. Giving up a second would be big. Not at the quarterback position, Glenn. You got to do what you got to do for the quarterback position. And on the same token, you got to blame Chris Greer for not having a third and fourth. You literally traded up to get Eichenberg and got rid of assets to do it. There's all kind of draft for reasons why we don't have mid-round picks. Chris Greer. All that draft capital and money on Tyreek. All of these things. Tua had a chance to end the whole debate at the Tennessee game. Nah, that it wouldn't have mattered. Even if Tua would have won the Tennessee game and balled out. First of all, let's get something straight. That defense wasn't playing the same that it was the previous year anyway. And they still rattled him. But understand something. He was still going to go bomb it versus Baltimore and Buffalo and the Chiefs. That was inevitable. He wouldn't have proved that. Now, the only thing that would have helped is the fact that we would have won the division. And that would have made people overlook his horrible last 3 games. Because we would have had a home game in the first round in which if it was Buffalo, they would have smacked us again at home. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, this team as a whole, that's why, like, people every season, when the season is over, we pointing our fingers and talking about the wrong things. We always try to figure out what went wrong, and we always blame the wrong things. Injuries were not why we derailed this season. I am telling y'all now, we could have been 1,000% healthy on the defensive side of the ball. We still wouldn't putting up more than 7 points against the Chiefs. Well, if the offensive players weren't banged up, what team ain't got offensive players banged up in the playoffs? We the only ones talking about it a lot so that we can give ourselves, a little bit of reprieve. It'll help us feel better whenever we talking about it. I didn't say injuries don't count. What I'm saying to you is the Chiefs were going to score more than 10 points on our defense regardless. Regardless. Our offense wasn't going to score no more points because of the defense. Well, Genie, you never know. Maybe they got a turnover. It puts us in field goal range or whatever it may be. Yeah. The offense got demolished. We lost because our offense went stagnant. Our offense went stagnant late in the season in multiple games. Multiple games. That's why we lost. And people always blame the wrong thing every offseason. I'm gonna tell y'all something though. What I am excited about, I'm excited about going over film all summer this year. We gonna go over so much film. This year is the film off season. This year is the film off season. We're gonna go over so much film this off season, all the way back from the beginning. Matter of fact, we might start at the end to the beginning, go backwards, show you some of the things that we weren't doing well and how it looked earlier in the season. We gonna this off season, we gonna be film junkies. Film junkies. This off season starting next week for sure. I'm trying to make it a point to where I'm trying to go live every single day. Every day. I need to see why you gave Tua a C versus that Ravens game. You mean on his report card? Well, one of the large factors for Tua's report card, um, it's been his. Let me see. Hold on. Let me pull this up. It's the yardage. The yardage carried Tua a lot this season. Remember what we let me see. When was the Ravens game? You said why did I give him a C plus? He had good yardage. Let me see overall. Well, first off, let me ask you this. When you asked me why did I give him a C plus, did you think it was supposed to be better or worse? Now, let me ask you that first. Let me ask you that first. I think that's the important question to ask. Put it in the chat for whoever asked that. Let me go back to see who asked it. I need to see why you gave Tua a C versus the Ravens game. Ronnie said that. Yeah, Ronnie, put it in the chat. Ronnie, do you feel it should have been better or worse? And it wasn't a C; it was a C plus. Worse, like a C minus to a D. Well, I'm just going over the composite score that we came up with. Okay. In that game, obviously he stayed healthy, but his PFF grade in that game was a 71.6, was a C minus. Um his yards was solid. He didn't hit his target, but it was just shy. 0 touchdowns. He didn't throw any interceptions. Wait. I'm on the wrong game. Please forgive me. 71.6. Yeah, that's what it came up to. It came up to a 78 total score. That's what the overall came up to. So his touchdowns, he had 2 touchdowns. He had 2 interceptions, which wasn't good. But remember, the interceptions we didn't give like a massive weight this time. Yeah, that's pretty much it. He was like a 80% when it came to raw stats. And again, remember when we came up with his grade, we were trying to be not just favorable, but we cut some slack. With the interceptions and stuff, they weren't as heavy of a weight this year. And last year it might have been a C minus when you look at the weights, but yeah, I composited C plus. I was just when we came up with these, we were trying to be generous and fair and realistic for Tua. And I like the grade. I like the C plus in that grade. Again, C plus is average. C plus is average. C is average. C plus is barely above average. So that's still not writing home. But, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Yeah, I think it's fair. A C plus in that game. Again, C minus, C plus, give or take. It ain't a perfect science. This is just what we came up with. But I think that's fair. I don't think it needed to be lower than that. And if it is, but it would be nitpicking. It ain't C plus is still average to me. So, and then look at the game after that, it was a D, below average. Then the game after that in the wild card, D, below average. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah. Let me see something real quick. All right, we got that already. All right, TD, outside of mobility, how does Fields push Tua in competition? It's, again, here's what it's about. It's about training camp. It's about, remember what McDaniel turned Tua into after training camp? So how does he push him? This is all relying on the fact of McDaniel being Mike McDaniel, who everyone says he is. Create an offense in a system, in a style, and help him see what he needs to work on and make him a better passer. See, what we're doing is trying to take who Fields is right now and saying under McDaniel, that's still who he's going to be. But y'all didn't do that with Tua. You said that McDaniel would help him, give him structure, and help him improve. And he did, right? So we have to use that same thought process with Fields coming to Miami under McDaniel. So now with that being said, if Fields were to become a better passer, I think you've answered your own question. How does he push Tua? Because he can do things Tua can't, from extending a play, mobility, throwing off script, throwing the ball further down the field, attacking outside the numbers. He can do all of those things. So this is what I'm trying to explain to you guys. Imagine Justin Fields being a better passer today. What type of quarterback do you think he is then? If you're going to be a fair individual and try to really imagine him being a better passer. Some people don't even want to imagine it. Why? Because of Tua. But they saw the vision with Tua and McDaniel before it happened. But all I'm saying to you is, if he was to become a better passer, then that answers your question. How can he threaten Tua or push Tua? Oh, Tua got to be perfect. Tua got to play high level consistently, because now we got a guy who can, think about it. Think about the Ravens game. Think about the Bills game. Think about the Chiefs game, how we couldn't do nothing. Fields would have been able to do a lot more in those games because of his mobility. I could show you film in all three of those games where you say, imagine Justin Fields with that lane right there and nobody within 15 yards. I can show you that all day. Next, what if he can process the field? Fields can't process the field well. He's no different than Tua. I'm gonna tell y'all that now. I've already seen enough film in the last 3 days because I wanted to make sure I understood what, if we were to even explore that, or if I wanted to, what we were getting ourselves into. I am telling y'all now, Fields is Tua without the accuracy, but with the athleticism and ability to extend plays, the cannon arm down the field, throwing outside of the numbers. With Fields, the only thing he got to work on is his accuracy. Then he's already better than Tua. But I also don't see Fields having better accuracy than Tua, ever. But can he be better and get close? Yeah, for sure. But as far as the next level of processing the field and all of that, Fields ain't got that 1 ounce in him. Tua don't either. I'm not even counting on those guys to develop that. These are guys that's probably going to need 10 plus years in the league, and then they've seen so much that they're starting to vision things differently, and it just comes innately. But that's later. So right now, you have to bank on things like athleticism and things like that to continue to carry you until you get to that point. But Tua doesn't have that. Tua doesn't have that extra tool in his belt to carry him until he gets to that point. And that's to say, if you ever get to that point. That's what it's about. Fields scored the highest in the S2. Well, let me say this. He might can be a great processor with the right coach. So I'm wrong in saying that about him. But what I see on film, he's not doing it. He's not. He's not. But what I'm also seeing in film, not to give him an excuse, because he's not. But what I am seeing, he's electing to run when he shouldn't. He's electing to run when things are getting open. He's actually extending plays with his legs, and then he elects to run instead of saying, hey, I extended this second. Now I got a wide open man in the end zone. But when I extended, instead, I choose to run. That's where he gets himself in trouble too. Someone said, I don't want Fields or Tua. I would rather get a new quarterback. I understand that too. But I don't think it's wise unless you can move up to the very top of the draft. And even there, I have an issue because I've been looking at Caleb Williams' film and I have concerns about Caleb. I actually have concerns about Caleb. But the athleticism is there, so that's a good part. But I'm at a point now, as I've evaluated the entire situation in the field of what we're dealing with as an organization, the right thing to do is keep Tua for year 5. But you gotta have a backup plan. And that's why it angers me that people out here crying about the backup plan. If you can't move up and get Drake May, I'm not inclined to move up in the draft. And again, I could be prejudging Caleb, but I've seen some film where, and it ain't a large amount. You know, it's large enough. It's half of the film that I did on Tua before he came in. It ain't quite as much as I did on Tua, but I'll do some more. I'll look at some more over the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But I see some things in his game where I don't know if he processing the field either. He's more of Mahomes in this. Well, let me back up. Because Mahomes ain't processing the field like y'all think either, based off of my analysis. Mahomes is just a baller. He's a gamer where he feels the field, which is the best kind of player to have, if you ask me. A guy who feels the field. He's in tune with what's going on out there. He ain't got to go 1, 2, 3. He can hike the ball and just stare at it all and feel like the defense and the offense is already in him, and he's seeing where it's happening, and he know that's what I like. That's the quarterback I like. But them guys ain't processing. But it's gosh, man, I keep on trying to figure out what the word is for it because it's better to me than the great processors like Peyton and all of them. Like it's. Like you're a gamer. You're a baller. Y'all know what I'm talking about when you played in the streets when you were growing up. Nothing was organized, but you hiked that ball. Everybody, you didn't know what route nobody was going out on, but everybody was doing their own little thing. In the defense, like, where is they going? And you felt where to go. Intuitive. I like that. I like that word. That's a good explanation of it. But let me ask you, am I making sense? Because some people may be like, man, this dude just talking now. Am I making sense with what I'm saying? If you played football as a kid in the street, you know how the pavement street, and on the side you had the grass, in front of the front yards, and it's touch on the street, tackle on the outsides. And you with all the kids on the block or a few blocks over, and y'all all hanging out in the summer, and it's about like 15 of y'all. And you're like, let's play some football. And it's like 5-on-5 or whatever y'all want to do. Your quarterback hiked the ball. You ain't sit there in no huddle and say, you go 10 and cut. You go on the go. You just went out there, hike, and everybody do their own thing. But y'all were balling. Y'all were playing football. You didn't need, that's what Mahomes is to the core. And then as he played organized sports, it got polished into a system. But that's why when he gets off script, man, he ain't out there reading no progressions. He out there playing football like you did on the street. We tackled in the streets too. We did. It depends. It depends, though. Sometimes we did, and then after a while, we stopped doing it. Because at the end of the day, y'all know, because you get in all these fights and all that stuff, eventually you start calling rules. All right, tackle on the outside. So, yeah, we had enough bruised up knees and stuff to switch the game up over the years. Because I remember when it was tackle in the street, too, on the pavement. But eventually you even adjust that. At least we did. All right. TD, listen to the conversation you're having tonight going into Tua's fifth year. This would have never happened with the Dan Marino. We knew after 4 years what we had. Fans up. Yeah, I get it, man. But this is the era we live in. You got to get these kids all this time and all this and all these. It is what it is. But back to the point I was making, that's what Mahomes is. Y'all think he be processing the field. Mahomes don't process the field. But at least he got that gene in him. This is why, not this year, but remember last year, the first 8 games, everybody was like, Mahomes been figured out. He's struggling. He's not connecting deep. What y'all didn't know is the Fangio system. Teams start running the Fangio system on them, which takes away the deep ball, makes you check it down if you're smart enough to. But Patrick Mahomes just wanted to force it deep. Because remember, playing that outside football. Because y'all knew outside football, if nothing was open, eventually you just heave it down there. Hope one of them guys go up and make a play. Y'all know how this go. Ain't no such thing as throwing it away or come back for the check down. Or sometimes you tell them to come back so you can get one. But y'all know how it was. That's what Mahomes was. He struggled. But then he learned to take what the defense gave him. And then he started checking down more than anybody. Mahomes barely throws the deep ball anymore. Do you notice that? Look at the whole playoffs. Have you noticed Mahomes rarely throws the deep ball now? Rarely. He still get it out there sometimes, but rarely, man. So that's who he is, man. He's a gamer. He's intuitive. And intuitive isn't just like up here with where to go and what to do. Sometimes you have intuitive physical traits too. Like your body knows what to do. Like you could be veering one way, needing to go the other way in the calculation. It's like you have to make a real-time calculation. Let me put it a little over there. Hey, y'all know what I'm talking about. I just can't put the exact words to make it sound intelligent. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It ain't just the brain intuitive. It's the physical intuitiveness as well. And Tua ain't got no ounce of intuitiveness in Tua. And Tua ain't got none of that in him, and that's the problem. He don't have none of that. He'll give you a no look on occasions, but trust me, it's rehearsed. He ain't got none of that, and that's his issue. And it ain't something you just get. You either have it or you don't. He ain't got it. He ain't gonna get it. He ain't ever gonna have it. It's something that's in you. So it is what it is, man. But anyway, man, I just wanted to come hang out with y'all for about an hour. We're going 105 right now. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. I'm about to get up out of here. Tua pass is great this year. Let's move forward with them. I just hope the Miami Dolphins have a backup plan. And then are they going to sign him on a long-term contract? I keep telling y'all they will give him his money this offseason, a long-term deal. Unfortunately, I don't agree with doing that. You got to make sure first. But they're not, because they're not in a position to make sure. Things could get ugly real fast in Miami if they tried to make sure. So with that being said, Tua's going to get a multi-year contract within the next 45 days, ladies and gentlemen. It might happen tomorrow as far as we know, but it's going to happen. They have to do it before March 13th, a matter of fact. They need to, because they also need to be under the cap before March 13th so that they can make any transactions they want to make. Because if you're not under the cap by March 13th, you can't make any transactions. So everything that they're going to do is going to happen within the next 5 weeks. A lot of the things, you're going to know who gets restructured. You're going to know who resigns on an extension. You're going to know all of that. You should know all of that in the next 5 weeks, at least 80% of them, because they have to get in the positive by March 13th. So we'll see. And every time we get an indication or a new update to find out, you'll hear it here on TD Fans Talk, giving you my real raw opinion about it. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Fans up no matter what. Y'all take care. I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace. I am out.